Hello and welcome to the M2 podcast. I'm your host, Michael Anthony. My co-host right here is Mr. JK Heath. Kyle Heath. How you doing, man? How's it going? What you been up to? Yeah.
Oh, he's jumping right in. I like this.
I'm just jumping right in. I'm figuring like we'll just mix around with like
I like this.
how we do the intro because by this time, dude, we're season 5 now, man. I feel like at this point, people that jump in, you're just jumping in already, you know?
Yeah, dude. I mean, hey, I believe it. Listen, this week, a lot of Power World, Mike. What can I say? I feel like a broken record at this point with these updates, but it's been a lot of Power World, and the grind still continues. I think I'm actually at a point. I think I only have like 5 more levels before I max level. So I'm pretty close.
What's the max level?
To, like the end. Max level is 50, 45.
Oh, okay.
So like getting towards the end game. In there,
Yeah.
I think I want to. There's like I have a couple like objectives I want to reach to kind of where I would declare it as kind of like beating the game, even though it's such a big game. It's kind of hard to like. Yeah, I think completionist would take a while, but
I thought
I don't know how much left.
I thought like beating the game, because it's kind of similar to Pokemon, it would be collecting all the pals, right?
I mean, yeah, pretty much, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like, if you wanted to do full completionist, it's, catch up with pals, really.
Yeah.
There's certainly a lot, so.
That might be the play, because they're still going to keep updating the game and eventually get it to PvP and like probably dedicated servers. Hopefully that actually is allowed by Xbox. Doubt it, but it'd be cool if it was.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I think this is the thing. I mean, they are talking about they're going to add more pals at some point as well. So I mean, there probably will be expansions, quote unquote, of that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm excited for the future of the game. I think it's there's still a lot they can add, and it's got potential to really expand. They could add enough content to make the equivalent of 2 or 3 games if they really wanted to. So,
yeah, it really does.
Curious to see how they actually go about it. I mean, there's still. I mean, I think there's at least like a patch going out on a weekly basis at this point, at least on one that's going out. There's even like some hot fixes and stuff they're doing here and there. So I mean, they announced Xbox is pretty involved at this point to try and get it better performing on console and even their service. So I think they'll have additional resources, which would certainly help. And I'm just hoping that content will start rolling out, sooner rather than later. But I mean, the games. I mean, there's certainly a lot. There's a lot of optimizations that are going in. I mean, there's still a ton more they want to do, for what they've said throughout patch notes. But at least just try to fix a lot of the crashing and everything. I noticed I switched it over to Steam. Actually, pretty recently, I decided to just because I wanted to support Pocket Pair and kind of their game, and from what I had heard, it actually runs better for the most part on the Steam version for whatever reason. So,
Interesting.
Sure enough, whenever I did actually download it on Steam, I was able to actually manually transfer over our save world and stuff like that, and our characters. You do have to jump through some hoops in order to do that right now because there's no native tool or anything. It's kind of just it's really weird right now because if you want to change a world from Game Pass over to Steam, there's there's a lot of third-party tools out there and little GitHub repositories people have made of just these small little programs that are written in Python. It's you download it, your computer thinks it's a virus, but it's not. So you have to run it, and it's kind of sketchy. But at least the small tools I found through YouTube videos and whatnot seem to do the trick. And it takes a lot of actual editing of save files and everything out of the way because you can just click a couple buttons and your world's transferred and characters and everything. So it's kind of funny how there's tons of already third party open source tools people are making to try and do that without the help of Pocket Pair, which I think is kind of funny. It's that's just a testament to how huge that game is, as people are creating workarounds for trying to transfer files and whatnot to get a better experience for players. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's really good.
Until I started looking into mods as well. I mean, there's tons of mods out there, quality of life and texture, graphics, stuff like that. I've really just been sticking with a handful of quality of life mods, kind of slight improvements. I won't get into too much detail. One of them, which I think is my favorite though, is you get a bonus XP for catching the first 10 PAL of a specific type. So you kind of get bonus XP for each one. So the first 10 you get a lot of XP if you capture 10 of that type or 10 of that PAL specifically. So but what they don't really have in the UI is a way of determining which number you're at. So say you catch 3 out of the 10, There's no way of telling unless you go into the PAL deck, is what they call it, and actually see, like, go to that PAL and see, okay, how many do I have left? But like, there was just a simple quality of life mod that someone made where it just puts that number on the actual UI. So when you hover over the PAL in the world, it tells you next to the level and everything how many are left for your XP bonus. So
that's good.
yeah, it's just little things like that I think are really cool, and it's out there and easily. They're pretty easy to install, especially on the Steam version. So yeah, been really cool to see that, and I don't know, man, it's a fun game. I'm almost kind of at max level, and reaching kind of the end of my playthrough. I think at least my first one. So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, good game. Solid game. I recommend people check it out if you haven't already.
Yeah, no kidding. I feel like the hype died down just a little bit, only because that's just how new games are. New games usually die down with hype.
Oh yeah.
I still haven't really gotten into it. I need to. I think the finals has been taking up all of my time.
Yeah.
Like that's all I've been doing is like grinding and just trying to understand the game better. The last few times I've played, like specifically over the weekend and earlier this week, I was trying to grind it, but it's mouse and key, and for whatever reason, I feel like I have to be hyper focused and concentrating in order to be good at the game. Like just shooting. Because I'll have like off days and I'll just get destroyed. But then when I like focus up and really try, it's like I'll just keep going for it and I'll actually perform pretty well. It's been very frustrating for me. Because I've been thinking about playing on controller, but they've nerfed the aim assist so much that apparently it's not even that good.
Oh really?
It's like some people I know have actually stopped playing because aim assist is gone. Not gone, but it's like it's nerfed.
It's like nothing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. I haven't used it myself, but we'll see. I've also bought a new retro controller that I can show off whenever it gets here. But basically, it works with the original Xbox. Yeah, it works with the original Xbox, the PC, and Nintendo Switch. And it's a green gamepad that looks like the original Xbox controller
Ooh.
from like way back in the day. It's not as big and bulky. It's not the
Duke.
It's not the Duke. It's not the Duke. It's like inspired by the S type. It's very interesting.
Okay. Very cool.
But it's more like a Switch Pro controller.
Yeah.
So we got that coming, and yeah.
Is it a Retro Fighter brand, perhaps, or is it something else?
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah.
I'm really curious how that is then, because I've seen that controller that you're talking about. Yeah, I've been curious about that brand specifically, so I'd be curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Because I got notified that it was in stock at the beginning of the month, and I bought it immediately because I thought it was going to go out.
Yeah.
And it's wireless, which is pretty wild that it works with the Xbox, and it's just like a little plug-in that you just go into the port, and that's really hard to do with the original Xbox because the way the input works is it's not anything like modern controllers and modern inputs. Yeah. So to have something that versatile is very interesting.
Yeah,
I want to know how it works.
That kind of hardware, it's like adding wireless stuff in that little dongle. Yeah,
essentially the adapter that you could get, OG X360, which basically turns all the modern inputs into an OG input on the console. Yeah, it's like I used that a couple of times, and I was like, it's not that bad,
Yeah.
So
true. Yeah, they have PS2 controllers, and I was thinking about getting that at some point because I think it works with like PS1, 2, and 3 minus the gyration or whatever in the controller.
Yeah, gyration.
But it's but they have the controller slot for like a wireless dongle for PS2, PS1, so you just slot it in and it works natively. It's kind of weird.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing about it is it has Hall effect joysticks in it. I want to know if it's going to be good or not.
Yeah.
So, very much looking to see how that works. But regardless, if it doesn't work well with the console, it should work good enough with the Switch for me to have because right now I only have two wired controllers. I have a PowerA and a Switch Pro. The PowerA is trash. Don't get those. The Switch Pro wired is really good. And then I have a 8-bit DO wireless controller that's like really good. I love that controller.
Yep.
And then the other one is just the nunchucks, or like the not nunchucks, Joy-Cons that comes with.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Those aren't really good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Something about the Switch, man. I think that Switch Pro controller just like fits my hand so well because I enjoy using it. It's like a perfect size for me, I think. So it's like it feels
they're comfortable, man. They're really comfortable. I don't even have the back buttons programmed, and I got the controller. I really need to do that.
Yeah,
So,
sure. Nice,
yeah.
cool stuff.
Well, sure.
Speaking of hardware,
But yeah, that's a good point. Good segue. We can tie it into was it last week's article that we talked about?
think it was, yeah.
Evermedia's?
That was
Yeah,
last
I'm
week.
pretty sure it was. So it's like Elgato immediately being like, "Yo, we got that too." So,
Yeah, for real. Yeah, this article comes from The Verge. Tom Warren, he reported this, kind of earlier in the week. I guess it was late last week. Elgato's new HDMI 2.1 capture cards are finally here for Xbox Series X and PS5 streaming. We're more than 3 years into the latest console generation, and Elgato is launching some of the best HDMI 2.0 capture cards yet. He writes, Elgato is finally ready to launch its HDMI 2.1 cards on February 1st. Or it says, or 2.1, no less. After months of teasers, there are now options for gamers wanting to capture footage from the latest Xbox Series X and PS5 consoles at higher frame rates and resolution. A $229 4K-X is a new USB capture card that lets you capture up to 4K 144 FPS. If you have a full PC setup or you're more interested in the dual PC streaming, Elgato also has a $280 4K Pro capable of supporting 8K 60 FPS HDR pass-through, all while capturing at 4K 60 FPS HDR. The 4K-X can handle a range of pass-through and capture resolutions too, thanks to its USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 gigabits per second support. Elgato includes 10 gigabits per second USB-C and HDMI 2.1 cables in the box, and both are hopefully labeled too. That's cool. It's got the little, as we can see, it's got the little Elgato label at the end.
yeah, it's pretty sick.
Branding on point. What can they say? 4K-X can handle configurations like 4K at 120 Hz HDR pass-through, all while capturing at 4K 120 Hz SDR. That's ideal for both Xbox Series X and PS5, allowing you to use pass-through to send the signal to a TV and monitor with HDR enabled and record 4K SDR at the best refresh rate that consoles can output. You can even still record at 4K at 30 Hz HDR and 1440p at 60 Hz HDR if you want to capture HDR too. If you're a PC gamer, 4K-X also supports pass-through at 1440p at 240 Hz HDR, while allowing capture of 1440p and 144 Hz SDR and 120 Hz SDR and 60 Hz HDR. Don't a lot of HDRs, hertz, and numbers, and it's a lot, you know?
Yeah, it hit you with everything.
All the tone mapping is performed on the device to translate the range of HDR content into a narrower range of SDR. Elgato's 4K-X USB capture cards works out of the box on both Windows and Mac OS, and even works with iPad OS 17. That's interesting. So there, PC creators and distributors
Oddly specific.
Yeah, it's that's what I'm saying. Like, all right, Elgato, I'm getting a little more specific here. PC creators and streamers with dual PC setups are more likely to opt for Elgato's 4K Pro, the successor to the popular 4K 60 Pro Mark II. It looks identical and more like a Mark III and slots into the PCIe 2X4 or faster slot on the motherboard. Elgato also bundles a HDMI 3.1 cable in the box. You can output and use pass-through up to 8K resolution at 60 Hz HDR, including 4K at 144 Hz HDR, 240 Hz at SDR, and 1440p at 240 Hz HDR, and 1080p at 240 Hz HDR.
Jeez, man.
Did you take notes? Are you taking notes right now? Because I'm telling you, everyone, this is a lot of numbers. All of these inputs, mind you, also support VRR, all while you can capture in 4K at 60 Hz HDR, 1440p 144, and 1080p at 240. A lot of numbers. Taking notes? VRR? Remember that? I
So much information.
Is.
I don't know what VRR is either.
Variable
Actually,
something refresh rate? I don't know.
variable really refresh rate. Realistic? Maybe, I don't know.
This is sad news though, Mike, because unfortunately, there's no support for capturing 4K at 120 Hz on the 4K Pro PCIe card. Devastation. What are we doing?
It is.
While Elgato's USB 4K-X can capture 4K 120 Hz and SDR, you have to drop down to 1080p at 120 to capture on the 4K Pro. Crazy stuff, you know.
That is wild. Absolutely insane. So
Crazy.
when I was trying to pull up the AverMedia HDMI 2.1 4K capture card as comparison, I believe the prices are only like a 20 or $30 difference, whereas AverMedia is a little bit more expensive. However, I think that some of the if you're looking for like high res with more hertz or frames per second, they match up very similar to each other, it seems. But it looks like the actual capture video, if you need to make videos for like YouTube or capture gameplay or anything footage in general, um, it seems like Elgato might actually beat out AverMedia on this.
Huh.
It's very like in terms of specs.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to see some actual tech YouTubers buy both of them and put them side by side. That's really the only way to decide.
Yeah.
But the
You're right.
VRR support, I feel like that's such a niche group of people, wouldn't it?
I mean,
Variable
it's
refresh rate,
gotta
that's
be,
all that
right?
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's gotta be somewhat niche. Um, it's certainly
Well,
not like I think most people when they're looking at these are not thinking about that, you know?
no, it's mostly just like, okay, what's the resolution I can get at the best frames per second? Because if you're trying to capture to post on any platform, most platforms, like platforms as in like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that, most of them don't go past 60 because it's just so much space in
Yep,
terms of data.
it's true. Yeah, I mean, you think about 30 to 60, it's double the frames. You're doubling the frames again.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
it's a lot of data to deal with. So,
it's a
I mean, yeah,
buttload.
it's crazy too because I mean they talk about a little bit further in the article, you know, like having the 120 hertz support is like useful for pass through to like most people's monitors, right? Because like
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
I mean most people have like at least over that, you know, not around there. So I mean, and people if they're trying to capture that kind of footage, I mean, I know like obviously you know YouTube and whatnot, it's you know all 60 hertz. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anywhere right now where it's like streaming 144 hertz. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but seems like you know we haven't gotten quite there yet.
No, but I think this is definitely for people that want the best of the best. If you're like, if you're maybe a YouTuber that does video game content and
Yeah,
your channel is like the videos you post, like everybody knows you have the best quality and like the highest end equipment,
yeah,
and that's kind of like part of your brand. This is going to be really good for you. This is going to be really good for people that are using streaming PCs
yeah,
that can do double instances of their like their display and go one pass through straight through their 4K 144 hertz pass through,
yeah,
because that's wild.
yeah.
that
That's
that's a
true.
pass through.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this is for like, and like Tom talks about a little bit in this article of like, you know, you don't lose like if you're capturing this originally, like you're losing a lot of like what your console can output, and like kind of you're deteriorating your experience, you know, to
Yes, you are.
sacrifice kind
Yeah.
of that for what you're trying to record or film. But like with this, you no longer have to like sacrifice your quality kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's a
you
good
know,
point too. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like it's mostly for kind of you know the content creator, right, to have the best experience possible. Um,
Very
which you
true.
know is I think could be beneficial for content. You know, if you want to, you know, because I feel like it certainly could be annoying having to you know, kind of dumb things down a little bit to make what you want maybe more enjoyable for you and everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
True.
I can get down with the idea.
I think another thing to possibly tie this into is I've been having a bit of a challenge when I think I told you about this last week. I have been trying to record my gameplay and then just grab whatever type of content I can think of that's like not just like entertainment, just like a couple of clips that I'll enjoy that I'll like to look back on and to get ready to upload them. But I've noticed while I'm recording, my frames per second and overall game performance is going down in quality because my GPU CPU is being used doing multiple tasks at the same time. So that is such a shame because it's like I'll notice a very significant change in like performance for myself of
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, I'm playing over 144 frames a second, I'm doing great. But then when I'm recording, it's more like 90 to 110, depending on the situation.
yeah,
And it's like if it fluctuates and it's not stable, you really like it can take you out of focus like in crucial moments.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
maybe yeah, and I think the same thing could happen to people that are like predominantly console players, but they also have a PC that they game with, and they want to have good like quality recording. It's like if you're doing pass through streaming and you're only getting 60 frames a second on your TV or monitor, it's like why did you get the console in the first place,
Right, yeah.
It's like I want to
That's very
enjoy
true.
it for what it has.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
think that's kind of for who it's for.
Yeah,
And also
for
video
sure.
producers, filmmakers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Look, man, I mean, it's Elgato, so I trust Elgato products. I think I haven't been let down yet. So, um,
Yeah, they have a
so
good
yeah.
brand.
But yeah, I mean, I think overall too, it's like, yeah, if you're playing on console a lot and you're filming content, it's either a hobby or profession, then yeah, I think something like this is probably worth it just to get a quality experience. Still
Yeah.
recording that fire gameplay.
That's a fact, dude.
That is a fact.
Shall we move on to the next article of discussion?
This is also turning into a fact, I think.
Yeah. Um, Before we even get started into it, I want your personal, like, anecdotal evidence of this. So the title of the article comes from Kotaku. Yeah, from Kotaku, Zach Swizen,
Wise.
and the title is "Over 500 studios are working on live service games." Do you feel like that is probably true, definitely accurate, kind of thing?
I don't know. If you would have asked me without kind of any prior like research or knowledge, I don't know if I would believe that number because I feel like that's just so much.
It's crazy.
But I mean, when you think about it, I mean, there are a lot of studios out there, so I mean, kind of makes sense. But at the same time, live service games, especially with the track record of live service over the past few years, there is some worry there for me. That's kind of my initial impressions, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a lot to deal with. Um, Having that many studios all working on the same type of product, it's like, dude, I want some variety, please.
Yeah.
You know, live service games to me are just never ending. It's really a shame.
They're meant to be never ending. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
But it's
milk it forever. Turn off the
I don't know.
server, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah, we could get into the article, of course, but I always think about that Marvel game that came out and it was like live service and lasted like 2-3 years.
Yeah, I mean Anthem. Remember that? That was supposed to come out and be live
barely
service. That lasted like a week. Felt like
seemingly.
people are just outraged.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
But let's get into some of these because I scanned just now and there's a handful of big names in here that are live service. Hopefully this has some opinions on it. So Zach goes on to start the article with a new game industry survey revealed that over 500 studios around the world are currently working on or maintaining live service video games like Destiny 2, Suicide Squad, and Fortnite. On February 2nd, as reported by Game Industry, Griffin Gaming Partners and Rendered VC released the 2023 Game Development Report. This report surveyed 537 development studios around the world and asked them questions about the state of the industry and what projects that they were working on. If you're hoping we get fewer live service, always online games moving forward, well, here's bad news. This is the same report that we actually covered directly from Game Industry News about their take on whether or not there would be more layoffs going into the year. So, dark times right now. The report says that 95% of studios surveyed are developing or maintaining a live service game. That means just over 500 studios are currently making or working on some kind of Destiny-like video game that probably demands an always online connection and features seasons with battle passes too. According to the survey, 66% of studios agreed that live service is necessary for the long-term success of a video game. The Game Development Report also says that non-live games now take about 2 or 3 years to develop. Meanwhile, live service titles can take more than 5 years. Some live service titles, I might argue, will release not even finished, and then the live service like component is just them updating it for the first 3 years. Have you noticed that crap?
Can I interest you in early access?
Yeah, it's like, how do you feel about beta? By the way, this is the beta, early access, pre-order now. It's like the game's not out.
Here you go.
You know
We're
what's
releasing the game. Not final release, by the way.
You know what's the longest live service game? Like Ooh, actually, that can't be the longest live service game because I think there's other ones that are longer. Maybe like
Minecraft.
Minecraft. Minecraft is like a standalone game.
Yeah, no, it's not live service.
Yeah, it's not live service. I was gonna think like maybe Star Citizen is live service. They send
Hmm.
periodic newsletters out every now and then. They're constantly doing updates, adding new content, and asking people to give them more money every time. It's like
Is the game out yet?
no, no, it's been in development for 15 years. Yeah, I
we're
remember
on
hearing
the
about it. It's a long time, dude.
we're on the new
Holy moly.
engines. We're on Unreal
I'm
Engine
gonna
5. You know what I'm saying, Mike? What are we doing?
dude, I'm gonna have my firstborn child before that game's out. It's a real thing. Live service games, dude. Alright, let's continue on just a little bit more, a couple more paragraphs. So it further explains that the majority of live service developers are working faster than ever to create enough content to satisfy players and keep them hooked. Yeah, I mean that makes sense as long as you got a good product, I think.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
As long as you have people with you and like really need to participate, you just have a good product. Keep people engaged. That's the way to go. Uh, this is a quote from the report. So, across the industry, live service teams reported their ideal production schedules as weekly or bi weekly for live ops cadences and bi weekly to monthly for game content updates. In the context of game development, which typically spans multiple years, live service production schedules are moving at breakneck speed. And I feel like that's fair, right? Because there's got to be more often than not that they have established game servers and engines that they can constantly update and perfect, you know?
Yeah. I feel
And
like I feel like
yeah,
weekly live ops cadences and bi-weekly game content updates. I feel like that's just not feasible, especially if you're on a multi-platform system, or like your games on multiple platforms. Just like
yeah,
because
that's a good
I'm
point.
because we're seeing that with Power World, I think to a certain extent. It's not like super significant, but like whenever they release a patch, especially the past like the first couple patches they released, it was like instant on Steam. As soon as they had it, they would send it out. But like on Xbox, it would take like another day typically because they just had to go through so many like walls and
Yeah.
barriers and like testing and whatnot. And I know there's a lot of stuff behind that, but it's like it probably would only take a day at most, probably get approvals for everything. But it's still like I just feel like I feel like the biweekly to monthly is probably a more feasible like cadence. But I don't know. I'm not a game developer. Maybe it's easier than I think. But like I just feel like especially if you want to make quality work, it's going with that kind of model is probably more sustainable long term. Or just even monthly like giant monthly updates. That's kind of sick. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think it just really depends on the studio and the talent they have around it.
Yeah.
And probably more about the game itself. Because if you have a massive game like Call of Duty or maybe like Halo, but these are like big IPs that everybody's heard of. Even Diablo 4 is on this list or Fortnite. Maybe it's just the fact that like adding a couple of changes will categorize as like the quality of life live service, you know? Where they're
Yeah.
just going in, they're actually just making a couple of different changes to weapon damage or something, or like adding more cosmetics. Like how do they define exactly what the production schedules are,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Fortnite did pretty well, kind of especially towards like the beginning, maybe like the 20, going into 2018 stuff like that. Of just having something new every week. That was always
Yeah.
interesting. That was like the first game that really was able to stay consistent with just having a new item or something every week to play with. Um, so
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. It'd be interesting for studios to kind of follow something like that, but it is Epic Games, so they had a lot of people working on the game. So
They
so
actually had layoffs secretly, basically, like under the radar
uh,
layoffs last year. Nobody really talked about it.
yeah, yeah. I know
Um,
it's what it used to be was just so much more. You know what I'm saying? Like now here we are.
I'm just saying. I think one of the best games, and it's actually in this list, which it actually says as a bad thing, is Sea of Thieves. They were doing live service content, and I felt like their content was very good.
Yeah.
like the overall seasonal events. It's just when you do it on such a scale like that, you have to constantly one up yourself in order to keep
Yeah.
people coming back. That's hard.
Yeah. What's one of those things because they say, and they talk about Cities GTA Online. It's like,
Yeah.
majority of live service games cannot be as consistent or be as relevant as long as like those kind of games.
No, they
But,
can't.
So, such a GTA Online. GTA Online is like a prime example of having, new content every year. It's like kind of bringing
Yeah.
players back. But, yeah, I don't know.
I think the players themselves are the content.
Yeah, at this rate, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's funny with Destiny 2, like, Destiny and then going into Destiny 2, kind of how that's kind of stayed relevant. Probably not as much now as it was, but
No.
it's yeah, it's crazy, man. But I mean, we've seen live service games just not work. I mean, that Suicide Squad game came out. I saw a meme. It was the best meme ever. It was it was I think Batman Arkham Asylum or Arkham Knight or something like that.
Yeah,
and it was next to Suicide Squad. And it said, like,
no.
all gaming has come so far with Suicide Squad on the left and the Batman game on the right, like it went forward. But it's really just like that game was 10 years before Suicide Squad, so it looked like a before and after. It was so funny.
It is really sad that like some developers just don't spend the extra time to perfect the genre. Like it doesn't make sense. It's like, why are we going back in time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
With graphical fidelity and vast worlds.
What?
Yeah. And I get it, right? One's live service and one's not. I understand that, so it's kind of like, it's probably confines and stuff they have to deal with, but still, it's like kind of weird when you think about it. It's interesting.
It is. Let's finish Zach's thought a little bit further here. So he continues on the last couple paragraphs is it really isn't surprising to hear that so many developers are making live service games like Fortnite and Diablo 4. We know that publishers want more of these games as they can sell people pricey skins and battle passes for years, milking players for long term with one title and small content updates. And it also keeps pretty much all the developers, production teams employed. So there is that kind of incentive as well. And keeps them busy and productive members on the team. So and then it goes on. Of course, the problem is that many live service games don't last as long as GTA Online or Sea of Thieves. Many of them die after a few short years, if that, and often with few players still around enjoying all the content. That's also true. It's like if you don't have always online live service games and the players leave, your game's done. Like, see ya. Kind of ruins everything.
I'm out.
Yeah. And then yet if you can make a successful and popular live service game, you can be set for years. And it seems a lot of publishers are taking that gamble and rolling the dice. That their big Destiny-like action game will be one of the few that survives. Meanwhile, we all have to deal with more games dying and becoming unplayable after just a few years. Depressing stuff. I would argue some come to life, and they shouldn't have, because they were never finished. I think that's the problem. It's like, when can we go to publish? And it's like, let's raise the cost of everything. By the way, we're not doing physical copies anymore.
We need to get this out the door, Mike. We have margins to meet. You understand?
Yeah, get out of here, man. Nonsense.
Crazy.
But yeah, that's basically Zach's take over here, reporting on what's going on in the gaming industry biz survey that they did in the last conference. Yeah.
Oh man, live service. Higher being, save us all. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. We got another opinion article coming from Game Industry Biz itself, more direct. And I'm excited. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one.
We've been talking about a lot of layoff stuff recently on the show. Kind of lower, more depressing topics. It's been a theme lately. I found this article from gamesindustry.biz. Person that wrote it, Christopher Dring. He composed an opinion piece of 7 reasons to be hopeful about the future of the video games industry. So I think it's time we spread some positivity, Mike.
I think it's good. I think it's a really good idea.
In full disclosure, I'm reacting to this real time. I did not read this before the show, so I
was about to read through it, and then you told me about it. I'm like, okay, we're waiting.
This is essentially just going to be kind of us reacting to this real time. So let's go. He said the past 12 months have been the bleakest he's ever seen in video games. I would agree. I think, we've been pretty consistent with keeping an eye on things.
There's been a lot of really good games that have come out, though.
Especially in 2023, yeah.
Yeah.
2024
He's
also a
just
good start.
down.
You know, it is. Be like that. Cancel projects, close studios, and thousands upon thousands of employees laid off, with few jobs available for them to step into.
All right, well, with that context, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I'm just talking about the release of games being a selfish consumer.
And this period of intense pain is likely to continue all year and into next year. How does that make you feel, Mike?
Yeah, okay. It makes me feel the bleakest I've ever seen video games. The last 12 months.
They discuss at length the reasons of the situation. As an industry, we spend too much during the pandemic. Costs have risen exponentially. Revenue is falling. Competition is as fierce as ever, and investment levels have plummeted. It's a perfect storm of issues that has led to the Great Correction, where companies are taking significant measures to change or cut what they're making and what they're spending their money on. The headlines contrast against the quality of the games that are being created and the fact there are more gamers today than there were 5 years ago. But the question that investors and business leaders are asking is one around growth. What is going to kickstart a new phase of growth in video games? And even those companies who aren't reliant on the numbers going up every year, many of them were looking forward at what opportunities might drive their businesses going forward. For me, there's seven developments that give me hope about the immediate future of of games. Point number one, Mike, you ready?
Okay.
The next Nintendo console. Something to be excited about.
It is something to be excited about. Very true.
Yeah, this thing, dude. Yeah, it's he goes on to mention, this is Nintendo's next generation console. Nintendo releasing a console doesn't happen very often, Mike.
No,
very
it's
few
like
far between.
every 7 years. It feels like.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, right? It's crazy we're there, right? 7 years. It's wild. But yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to this. I know like there's been rumors and stuff going around. It's not going to be as powerful as the current gen consoles and everything. Blah blah blah. But like, that's not the point of Nintendo in my eyes. Like you want to make like we talk about the blue ocean strategy that GameCube had back in the day of just making content specific to their IPs and everything, and trying to do that and ensure that it's done them very well. And I think it's probably something they'll continue to do. I mean, I know they have the cloud streaming stuff. That's kind of how they're trying to bring more third party onto the devices.
Yeah, they seem to be using the cloud specifically to bring on the parties that are just completely out of Nintendo, like Resident Evil being probably the biggest one that they brought over that I can think of off the top of my head. Really good. And then Call of Duty the other.
I mean, yeah, he also goes on to mention that Microsoft, there's also bigger companies trying to invest more in Nintendo hardware, with Microsoft committing to bringing Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms. So there's big stuff like that away. I mean, for me, it's always what is Nintendo's next innovation going to be, because their consoles are so different, right? They just find a different way to play. So Switch was no exception. The Wii was no exception. The Wii U, it was like the weird middle child between the Switch and the Wii. So just it's like, okay.
They always try something new. I think that's just what Nintendo is.
That's why I love them. That's why this is one point that I agree with. I'm excited about. Something to look forward to, Mike.
I agree.
This is so funny because we just got an update on this today. But Epic's Fortnite plan, and we'll be talking about this a little bit later in the show. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on with Fortnite. Fortnite still blows my mind how many collabs there are in Fortnite. How
it is insane.
And to me, it's weird. It's crazy how they've managed to take as big of a game as Fortnite was and make the universe so much bigger through these different games. The Lego collaboration was most recent, where they had a survival game mode essentially that they made. The racing game mode. There's harmonics coming back from the dead and making a rhythm game that a guitar is going to be coming out for, which we covered last week. It's just wild what Fortnite is becoming and how Epic is still managing to raise the bar with this game. And then today, they raise it again, which we will talk about later on in the episode.
Yeah. I mean, dude, Fortnite is just getting better and better and better. And when will it stop? I think when people stop playing, I guess.
I don't know if this is going to happen, Mike. This is the one game that's not going to die, I feel like.
I think it's going to be a game that becomes the game. That makes
the game
any sense at all. It's it's a game that's going to become the game, where everybody that wants to play a video game will just jump into Fortnite. And Fortnite's going to become its entire universe of just different versions of games.
This is the thing, dude. I'm predicting, especially with what we're talking about later, I predict that I'm starting to predict that Fortnite, whenever the transition to virtual reality and augmented reality becomes more and more of a thing, which we're starting to see, it's
Oh, yeah.
like Fortnite. I feel like is going to transition like gloriously into that. So
Oh,
it's
100%.
wild, man.
Dude, Fortnite's about to be like a game launcher that you can play. That's basically what's gonna happen. It's gonna be for
Oh man,
everybody and everything.
yeah,
It's gonna
it's
be wild.
I don't know, it's crazy, man. Fortnite's one of those games, I feel like it's never gonna leave. I don't know. Will I be
Yeah,
60 playing Fortnite, Mike? I ask myself that every other day. You know what I'm saying?
probably. Actually, like the way things are looking, they just keep pivoting over and over again. It's working every
True.
time. It's crazy.
All right. Number 3, Mike. Developing markets and global opportunities. Let's expand on this a little more. I'm already a little bit of the context here. As ever-growing share of game markets of the games market is coming outside of the core Japanese, American, European, and even Chinese markets, the increasing capabilities of smartphones, more on that in a moment, is creating opportunities for even traditional AAA developers to reach new gamers in new places. Territories in Southeast Asia are delivering huge numbers, while Newzoo says that Latin America, up 3.8% year over year, and Middle East and Africa, up 4.7% year over year, are enjoying strong revenue growth. For some of these markets, in particular territories like India, the key to success is likely through locally produced games. As we've seen with film and TV, these markets don't always respond best to Western entertainment. And when we have seen the likes of Ubisoft establish studios in emerging territories, while Xbox has actively supported local teams through ID at Xbox. Yet, even without region-specific software, these markets are fast becoming major opportunities for most gaming businesses. That's something to think about, but yeah, it's wild,
Yeah,
man. Gaming's become more global, right?
it really has. I mean, it's expanding in every single market like it's showing, and you can kind of see it just if you watch streams a lot, more and more people are more interested in watching people play games. And like Facebook's been exploding in Latin American communities in South America, and it's blowing up over there. And I think all of this is kind of a testament to the widespread use of social media. It's like people just naturally start becoming more accustomed to seeing it
Yeah,
and then become more interested. It's like, oh, this looks like a lot of fun. It's like, yeah, like they're talking about traditional media like film and TV, you'll see growing as well. And I think it's a good thing overall.
yeah. It's just it's wild to me. I mean, there's whole there's just areas of content that I'm just not familiar with. The world's so vast in terms of what's out
Oh,
there. I mean,
yeah.
the mobile gaming tournaments and stuff that go
Hmm.
crazy in like Asia markets. Like it's
Oh my
wild,
gosh.
like
Yeah.
how intense they get. And like they got the little like thumb like sleeves and stuff like
Yeah,
that. They're just
dude.
going hard on those Razer phones, bro. It's insane.
Oh, yeah,
Dude.
it's wild. Like people just so good at the game and they're like going to cafes and training
Yeah,
for it.
that's
It's
the thing too that
wild.
like it's not a huge thing in America, right? It's like these gaming cafes where it's like huge in other countries, but
Yeah.
it'd be cool to
People are
see
more
more of those.
comfortable with like being home and playing, but I think
Yeah,
it's because most people can afford to have their own setup and would rather just be at home. Like
yeah,
their
that
own
makes sense.
high
Yeah,
speed internet. It's like some countries they don't have high speed internet. So it's like where do you get it? Who has it? And then
yeah,
if there's a business that has it, it's like they can run a cafe and it would work.
yeah.
So
Actually,
yeah,
yeah. It's cool to see gaming go more global. Shout
facts.
out ID at Xbox too, making that happen
Yeah,
more.
that's yeah.
Point number 4, Mike. Ready for this? This is a good one. Powerful mobile hardware and app store changes. That's a little more. After nearly a
Okay.
decade of constant growth, the mobile games market is facing challenges, driven in part by privacy changes that make it harder for app developers to promote their games. However, there are several developers that can help drive the next stage of growth in mobile games. As mentioned above, the increasing capabilities of smartphones are enabling AAA developers to bring its titles to the platform. Most recent example, Resident Evil on the iPhone
Yep.
15.
Yep.
Goes crazy. Running
And people
natively, which still blows
streaming,
my mind.
it's wild. Like just streaming it to like
Yeah.
a TV or something like that too.
Yeah. But this also, I mean, we talk about this too. So it talks about the app stores, it's breaking up the app stores that offers the best opportunity. This would mean developers could sell their games directly and not be forced to go through Apple or Google's own stores, potentially offering better margins and in return investment in the products. It's the big
Mhm.
mobile games for the major studios that will benefit most from this, but the inclusion of the Xbox App Store, Epic App Store, and so on for Apple and Android devices will offer important competition and alternative options for developers of all sizes.
That is really good, actually.
The regulation of these mobile ecosystems has been slow, and Apple is doing its best to frustrate and delay things. Yet it feels inevitable. It just might take a little longer than anyone would like. That's fair enough.
Yeah,
But yeah, dude, it's there's obviously fight back from the big corporations, but driving competition This is where we need the CMA to just be like, hey, yo, what do you think you're doing? Like,
Exactly.
that's all we need.
Exactly, dude. Apple's always been this way though when it comes to their app store.
Yeah.
It's so wild. Like I remember I was trying to create an app and I think it was like I was trying to do the whole like if I can create an app and I get like 10,000 people to play it, download it, I'll get some ad revenue and I'll be good. We'll be set financially. This is back in the day when it had no
Like,
money.
yeah, all the Flappy Bird stuff. Then, yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was like, Flappy Bird's so simple. It's like let's try to figure something out. And then I started looking into how to get things on different platforms. Apple by far is like the most stringent at the time. You got to go through like verification processes. It was insane. Yeah, but now it's they got a cave eventually, and I think they have in a lot of aspects.
Yeah, I feel like that's starting. I think I heard reports. You know, we always see
It is.
what's the Epic CEO Tim Sweeney. I think we always see him tweeting about like another victory for Epic and stuff like that. Of like,
Yeah, exactly.
Very true.
Apple just keeps taking L's, and Epic keeps taking wins. It's crazy.
Fortnite. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, this is I like this.
This
Especially the past year. It's been 2 years really. It's been like popping off crazy. The convergence with movies and TV. It's like been an all-time peak these past 2 years when you think about it.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, video game expansion into TV and film is nothing new. It's not always been lucrative. It's most of the time been crap, for being honest. most adaptations just sucked. However, in the ever-challenging battle of consumer attention, it's through this activity that developers and publishers can look to establish their brands and maintain interest between releases. We've seen things like the Mario and Sonic movies, The Last of Us TV show, all three, very good. A small but notable impact on software sales. What's more, TV and movie houses have identified video game properties and opportunity to create hit productions that might unlock new audiences, or at least get a gaming audience to put down the controller to visit the cinema. Although the big brands from major studios are one's best places to capitalize on this, we have seen games with smaller studios expand into this area. Cuphead, for example. This blossoming relationship between linear and interactive entertainment and how these worlds cross over will continue to be a rapid area of growth for a while yet. I mean, hey. Yeah, dude, it's been crazy seeing all that. I mean, yeah, just for those 3 IPs they mentioned, getting series, and yeah, I'm sure that, I'm sure it's some aspect that does lead to increased play time of the games, right?
Oh, 100%, because it reminds people that the game exists, you know? And like you'd be more interested to go check it out. Or not just that, but like every time you Google it, you try to research it, the movie, and just because it uses the same IP and same name, you're gonna get hits also for like, oh yeah, there's also a game,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really good. 2 things that are kind of excluded that maybe count as like video game adaptations is Pokemon, Detective Pikachu.
Oh yeah.
That was a really good one. I think that was Ryan Reynolds too. And there was another one that wasn't too long ago either. That's not on this list. That I actually slipped my mind. But to go back to what they've listed, I mean, Last of Us TV show is awesome.
Amazing.
And yeah.
Sonic movies are good. I will say one disappointment as of recent was that I didn't even see it. Was that Resident Evil show? Apparently it was trash.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I watched the entire thing.
Oh no.
And
why would you do such
I made fun of it. I made fun of it the whole time.
So. Okay.
So yeah, I don't think it was the best, but I also don't think it was the worst,
Okay, fair enough. Move on to point 6. New tools are available to make games. And he says, and yes, AI. Ooh, baby, we talk about AI a lot lately, Mike. Drawbacks,
we have
positives.
It's inevitable. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I mean, not just AI though, just the amount of like tools, and he says here, there's a lot of problems that, specific like advancements in dev tools and stuff are able to solve, and make video games probably, don't have to worry about a lot of the smaller stuff when making games and kind of just focus on the big picture. I mean, AI could be a useful tool, however, it's that fine line of when you're abusing it versus probably using it for the best of its ability.
Yeah. It is a very strong balance, but at least it's being investigated by the FTC to find out whether or not it needs to be regulated, I guess, is the overall goal.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, It's so funny too because about the Unity on Unreal stuff and how there was problems with Unity, like trying to like snub like smaller studios and whatnot with their fees, and
Yeah.
that was a trip. But thankfully, a lot of that got reversed. But yeah, a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's it's definitely getting easier, I think, to make games. Remote work's probably more accessible and more widely used. I would assume.
Yeah. Yes,
So,
sir.
stuff there. The last point, though,
Is a good point.
it's a good point. The
Very good
new
point.
and old generations of gamers. I want to read this last. I just gotta read this last little bit. Listen. Finally, the games industry is young. There are still generations upon generations alive today who did not grow up playing video games. With each passing year, the number of digital natives increases, and therefore gaming's potential audience is expanding. It's also allowing a social acceptance around video games. I didn't have gamer parents, but his kids do. Let's go.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, it is finally accepted.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
more and
nice.
more accepted, yeah. We can see from the huge numbers posted on Roblox and Minecraft that there is a significantly engaged generation of players coming through, which is reassuring for the future. However, the key audience expansion is making sure there aren't people disappearing out of the hobby. As people get older and start families, their entertainment times reduces. Their ability to play 100-hour RPGs or deep or deep live service games becomes restricted. It's not uncommon for these people to age out of video games, in quotes. Certainly on console and PC.
Yep.
The industry is becoming more adept at catering for older audiences. We've seen traditional game devices become more flexible. Products like Steam Deck, Nintendo Switch, and even services like Xbox, cloud gaming all enable gaming to fit into different lifestyles. We're also seeing a continued rise in retro game services, remasters, remakes, and spiritual successors. It's nothing particularly new, but it's all playing a part in keeping older players in the market. It's a good point, yeah.
I think they're doing a good job with that too.
Yeah, I mean, I've even heard YouTubers and stuff like that who are parents, and they talk about, I don't get as much time to sit down and play games, but like when they got like a Steam Deck, they're like, oh, this is cool. I can take this wherever. If I'm waiting for like my kid to, do something, whether it's like doctor's office or like waiting to pick them up from school or something like that, you can just whip out the Steam Deck and you have, 30 plus minutes to play something, and it's all on the go. So yeah, I think situations like that, like those are kind of the situations where like if I get older and I want to get into games, like I'm probably gonna have some like disgustingly good handheld by then. It's just gonna play anything.
That's a good point. The handhelds are gonna get so much better.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah,
there's one extra thing to add on is like the people that work in 9 to 5s that live in cities and they have the ability to use public transportation. If they're one of like the fortunate ones where they can ride a bus or a train or whatever, a Steam Deck or a Nintendo Switch is perfect. Plug in your little earpods or you Bluetooth connect to it, and then you're just sitting on a train playing games, chilling. Start your day, on the way in. I'm sure there's plenty of people that already do that. And by the way, Mortal Kombat was what I was thinking of. A video game that turned into a movie, and Mortal Kombat was actually like I really enjoyed it. But there are a list that I found this week. I'm going to read off a couple of names that actually have dates, but there are some on here that I didn't know about and I'm excited about. So, video games that are video game movies in 2024 and beyond. So, some that have been announced. I don't know how true they are really, but obviously you can kind of, when I start reading some of these names, you're going to be like, okay, that makes sense why that would be a movie.
Yeah.
Borderlands is going to get its own movie.
Yeah.
Some of these we forgot. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is getting one. So sequel. That's in December. Minecraft, and I believe who is it that's playing the main guy? I forgot. It's a famous person. Is it Jack Black? I don't know.
No.
I'd have to look that up. There's Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is on this list. But check this out, dude. Legend of Zelda, remember that? Rumors turn out to be true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Ghost of Tsushima, really sick. One of them, I just saw this one. This is news to me. Gears of War.
What?
That has the potential to be phenomenal, but also be horrifically bad. There's like no difference.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you got like Mortal Kombat 2. They're apparently making another one. You got some zombie stuff here, like Days Gone, Death Stranding. There's Street Fighter in here. I mean, I don't know how that's really going to compete with Mortal Kombat. It's kind of like similar idea, similar movie, but whatever.
Yeah.
Pokemon Detective Pikachu 2, BioShock's on this list. Pretty wild.
Oh yeah.
Dead by Daylight, we've covered a couple of times. There's Ark Survivor on this list, and there's some like status unknown stuff. It's like Call of Duty. It's like, dude, that's just every war movie. Like, there's one on here. How do you do this one? Just Dance. What?
What? What's the plot there? I
Yeah,
wanted to read that
exactly.
screenplay. What is this?
Exactly, dude. There was a
Don't
Need for
find
Speed
that.
movie that I really liked. With Aaron Paul, is that his name? The guy from Breaking Bad?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
think so. Cool.
But the TV shows that are on this list is Halo Season 2, which premieres by the time everybody hears this. You gonna watch it? As a non-Halo fan, it's made for you.
I love how you just suggest thinking I watched the first season. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, do I
ain't
need
doing
to? Maybe, but to even watch the second, do I
Yeah.
need to watch the first? I don't know. But
Wait, I'm gonna be real.
I'm checked. I think they released the series for free on YouTube at one point, and I still didn't watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They somehow got greenlit for a second season. Don't know how that happens, but
I feel like it
whatever.
was before the first season dropped. Yeah, something like that. I thought it was like pretty early on.
It was after, I think it was the first like 2 or 3 weeks of success because they saw how many people signed up for Paramount Plus, and I'm sure they regretted after they saw how many people didn't renew.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Hey, I was saying Paramount Plus gonna get those subs. I'm pretty sure they're streaming the Super Bowl in there. So hey, they're about to get subs this weekend.
That's a fact. But I'm going to give you 3 more, I think,
Okay.
that I think are worthwhile. You got Fallout, actual date, April 12th.
Yeah. That's soon. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for that.
You got Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft, 2024.
Interesting.
Then you got The Last of Us Season 2, 2025. And yeah, there's The Witcher Season 4 on here.
Yeah, Henry Cavill's not coming back, right? There's like a whole thing there.
Yeah, I feel
Or it was like his last
not,
season or something like that.
It's like when you deviate from the plot line so much, you basically leave the diehard fan base behind, and now you're creating something for a new audience. So it's not really for people that are Witcher fans anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like something that wasn't mentioned I'd love to see is like I feel like just a cyberpunk themed movie would be kind of sick. I know they have like Edge Runners, I think is the name of the series, like animated stuff, but I'd love to see like a real world kind of adaptation of that. I think it'd be kind of sick. I just love that universe. Just seeing something in that universe would be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I think you're fair. I think that's a fair assessment. We could probably say like, it wouldn't be mad. What's the name of the movie? It had. Oh, I can't remember it, man.
No.
It's killing me. It had Harrison Ford in it. It was one of his original movies, and then they created a sequel. It was like
Indiana Jones.
wait, Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. Oh yeah.
Blade Runner's kind of cyberpunk.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that is that vein. Huh?
Yeah.
I still need to see that. I heard that kind of the newer one is really good.
Oh, dude, it's phenomenal. You need to go check that out. That and Mad Max. Oh,
Mad Max Fury
baby.
Road, dude.
Oh my god, it's so good. They're all so good. I'm all about that kind of stuff. Sometimes, dude, I don't know how you are, but I love watching movies that are horrifically bad.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I vibe with that.
Just terrible.
I feel like I have to watch it with somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no,
to, like make the experience better.
Oh, bro, I will bake in it. Like, I'll bask in the glory of cringe, man. I need that trash. Unless it's an IP I absolutely love. You know,
then you're just upset.
Yeah, then I'm just upset and I'm malding. You know, it's not a good time.
Yeah. You know, it could be a good time though, Mike. I know we've been on this article for a little bit. Hey, gotta move on. I'm saying.
Microsoft giving up all IP access. That's not right.
Let's go. Right.
This is basically Microsoft saying we do not care anymore.
Yep.
As long as we get our bread, you can have everything else. We don't care. You can take the crumbs, we get the bread. That kind of thing.
Hey.
So, Game Industry Biz over here coming out with another fire article. We got Sophia McAvoy. It's got to be McAvoy because there's no A. Hopefully. Hopefully the Irish shimmy helps out there. The title of the article is Microsoft reportedly bringing Indiana Jones and Starfield, one of the biggest IPs that they've recently launched, to PS5 and Switch. Wild. So there is a quick update to this article, and it says Phil Spencer announces a business update planned for next week following reports that major Xbox releases may become cross-platform. Very intriguing. Very intriguing indeed. So, according to The Verge, the games firm is weighing up which of its first-party titles remain exclusive to Xbox, as well as those that could become available to PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch. It's kind of crazy just to even like this would never happen like 2 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. You know what's even wild? Sony's been battling the acquisition of Xbox acquiring Activision Blizzard to the point that they were like suing them constantly, saying like they would never have access to Call of Duty. It goes through, and now there's rumors like, oh yeah, you can just have all the IPs on our console now. That's kind of crazy.
That's kind of nuts. Yeah, that's kind of wild when you put it that way.
Yeah. So Bethesda's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, unveiled last month and already one of the Xbox biggest exclusive releases for 2024, is chief among the games being considered. Starfield has been hinted as another possibility by Xbox Era, with a source suggesting that the Bethesda title could launch on PlayStation 5 following the release of the upcoming Shattered Space expansion. Hi-Fi Rush may also be headed to PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch following the discovery of data mined assets shared on X by The Verge's Tom Warren. That one I kind of hope. Hi-Fi Rush is a fantastic game, and I think more people need to play it just in general. Can't be gatekeeping, you know? Looking at you, PlayStation, and God of War. Now,
update. The first one's on PC, baby. You gotta give them credit. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Let's bring the second one on PC.
Yeah, then they saw how successful it was, and they're like, oh, no, you need a console for this, baby.
They'll be like, we'll delay it 2 years. You'll get it in 2026. All right.
Dude, gatekeeping your IPs is like being an Apple user, always upset that somebody in your group chat has green text. It's that level of like, what do you... It doesn't matter, bro. Just allow it for everybody. That's all you need. There was an update to this small little article on February 6th, which was, Tuesday? Following the ongoing conversation around whether Microsoft will be releasing some of its biggest first-party exclusive on other platforms, Xbox Phil Spencer said there will be a business update this next week. And he continued on social media saying, "We are listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for next week where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned." So what do you think the future of Xbox is going to entail, Kyle?
You know this thing called Game Pass, right?
Yeah, sometimes people call it the ultimate Game Pass. Yeah.
We take that. This is Game Pass. Yeah. We make it this.
Yeah.
And then we make it this.
Oh.
And then we say, okay, here's an entire library. PS5. There you go. Sony. Here you go. Have some of these games. You know, it's I mean, there's rumors that Halo might go to. I was gonna say like we keep Halo, but no, they're probably gonna throw Halo.
They're 100% getting rid of that. Yeah,
like 100%. I mean, it's just like here's a subscription model. This is kind of the future at this point. It's just kind of you're not paying huge. You're not paying $60-$70 price tags for new games anymore. It's just included in your recurring subscription. We get 120. Who am I kidding? They're getting like almost 200 plus a year off these people with Game Pass Ultimate subs.
Oh, yeah.
You're just rolling that in. We'll give you other services. We're likely going to increase the price of it at some point. But hey, you can, if you have a PlayStation 5, why don't you check out some of these titles? We kind of cook up on the shooter department. You know what I'm saying? Over here at Xbox. I mean,
they do well.
Have some of these shooters. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, Game Pass is going to get bigger. We're going to get to a point where, you're playing all sorts of games on all sorts of different hardware. And it's going to be more so like, that's Sony's gonna embrace a model similar to that at some point where it's gonna be more expanded, and then it's just gonna be like when I think an ideal world would be like everyone has their own kind of subscription service and you can kind of play it wherever, but if for whatever reason companies would still be encouraged to make like dedicated consoles so you can play the different games on it. but it's also just like at one point we're just making PCs. Like, what's going on here, kind of thing. So I don't. I don't know. It's weird in the hardware department, but yeah, dude, everyone's gonna be playing Halo on a DualSense, and I don't know. It's gonna be kind of wild when you think about it.
Welcome to the club, then. That's what I'll tell them. Been over here for years, baby.
Yeah,
I
dude, it's
think,
crazy.
yeah, I think we're getting into the era of. I mean, we've been kind of transitioning for a long time. I think it initially started with the success of Netflix, and then it's like Netflix. It's always like there's a trendsetter, in terms of media consumption. It's like Facebook, MySpace came out initially, which was supposed to be a music sharing app. And then LimeWire was also a thing, and then it's like, okay, well, they need to make royalties, so then they switch over to a different platform. I think Pandora actually came out before Spotify, but it's like you see
Yeah,
how it's like Pandora's kind of archaic now. I mean, Last FM was there too, but it just keeps going up and up and up of just what's the newest thing that people love. And the similar thing happened with Netflix, with like Netflix came out, and then all of a sudden everybody's got a freaking streaming app now.
yeah,
Xbox, I think, is just basically took the Blockbuster meta of being a Blockbuster member, like a librarian having a
yeah.
library card, going in there and just renting a couple of stuff and then bringing it back. It's like that's nuts. It's such a good idea in terms of a business acquisition, and now they're at the point where they're just probably killing it monthly, and they're just like, dude, our like console sales are maybe like 10% of what they make on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
Like, how many consoles do you think they sell a month compared to how much money they're making per subscription? You know,
It's
like
crazy to think about, but yeah, probably. I
it,
mean, what's nice about the
they're probably
subscription is just like it's guaranteed income, pretty much, right? Like
yeah.
it's the biggest thing.
That's the idea. So
Continual.
I think they don't even care about the IPs anymore. I don't think they've cared a long time about their console sales. I think for the last like 4 years, they never cared about their console sales. They barely care about the controllers. That's why they ship out so crappy and they break in 2 months.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
cares? Like, let's just get them on Game Pass. and now they're on, and now they're just like, you know what? They can have all the IPs. Let's put it on PlayStation because that's a whole other market that's never used an Xbox before.
Yeah.
There, tons of people, kids, younger generation that we just covered in the last article, probably have never used or played on an Xbox before. You know, I would imagine more kids right now want PlayStation than they do Xbox. Right?
Yeah.
It
Oh yeah.
used to be the opposite. Everybody wanted Halo, and it also had Call of Duty. It also had Gears.
Yeah. And it also like kind of seemed like it was, had just better games and just ran a little bit better, kind of maybe. But yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just they're just selling the subscription now. I think.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
it's kind of a shame because I like to have the hard copies, but
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, I don't know. The more I kind of dive into it and realize kind of, especially get into the retro stuff and kind of, I don't know, maybe it's
yeah,
just part of me getting older too, but it's like, yeah, it's like now that I've seen the digital only, it's like, I used to be like, oh yeah, perfect, less physical crap. I'm like, sure. But now it's just like, you get into the politics of you don't actually own anything. So it's just like, I don't know.
yeah,
Like, I just kind of, physical's nice, I'm starting to lean into that camp a little bit more, I think. Um, it's kind of, this is totally unrelated, but I think I saw today, like, Funimation, like, this is like anime, but like Funimation is shutting down and Crunchyroll, like, bought them out a couple years ago. But I think somewhere in, like, the article talking about the notes is that the digital stuff you purchased on Funimation, whether it was like shows and stuff like that, actually won't carry over. So it's like,
that's
are you actually
so
just screwed?
wild.
Like, you bought all that stuff and now it's just not, like, you, what the heck?
Yeah,
Like, you just buy all that stuff and then it's just like, oh, by the way, here's a reminder that you don't own it. So we're just gonna not
yeah.
transfer
You
it. It's just wild,
you
man.
bought the right to watch it for an extended period of time.
Yep,
That's basically what it
you
is.
bought the license and we can't transfer it. So GG.
Yeah.
Just wild, man.
Yeah, we're eventually going to get into a situation where, I mean, already it's working for Nintendo because they're suing people over it, but modifying games, like, at what
Yeah.
point does that become like dismantling or like destroying property, private property, you know? Because it's like you don't
Yeah.
know the game. Who owns the game? Well, who has the property rights? And
Yeah.
then copyright rights. And it's a little bit redundant, but who owns the copyright? Then
Yeah.
if you dismantle it or disfigure it, it's like, is that insulting? Like, how far does it go? We just
Yeah.
don't own anything. We're subscribed to every single subservice or subscription service, and we're constantly feeding into it.
Yeah.
Wild.
It is wild to think about, and especially in the music industry too, like Spotify and everything. Like
Oh,
I,
yeah,
I
you don't
really
own a
thought about it the
thing.
other day. I'm like, yeah, like because I didn't think about it until I saw a video of like, yeah, it's like, oh wait, yeah, you don't own any of this music. You're just you just
You're
have a
borrowing
key
it.
to listen to it, and then that's it. I mean, you're not, you don't actually keep it, and it's just like, dang, it's wild, man. Subscription model, man, it's taking over.
There are trade-offs, I think. I think there are trade-offs because I have tons of movies like VHS, dude. Like people think like VHS was great, but it was a pain to carry that stuff around when you had to move. It's
Yeah,
like carrying like it's
true,
just weird. It's just really weird because I don't think there's any medium of like interaction that you can have with these electronic like modern technology like movies and TV shows, music, video games. But I think one form of medium that like won't go away might be books because there's not
Same.
everybody kind of understands that feeling of like opening up a book for the first time and spreading it open, breaking the spine. You hear it
Yeah,
crack, you feel how crisp the paper is, and you can smell the new paper.
yeah,
It's like you don't get that when you open up a DVD.
it's true, man.
Like you don't get it.
Yeah, I started getting books last year. That's like, yeah, it's nice. I don't know. I prefer like reading the book over like a tablet. For me, I just feel like it's better. But then again, when you're
Yeah.
reading in the dark, that's like the thing that sucks the most because like if you have a tablet, you read wherever. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely trade offs. But yeah, I don't know. I like having the physical book.
Yeah, it's gonna be very odd when it's like you try to go meet people that created the game and you're very excited, you want to get autographs. What are they gonna sign? A poster? I guess.
Yeah, it's so true.
I want them to sign the game. Maybe a controller, because you're not really gonna get rid of the controller.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, maybe that'll work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think eventually we're gonna get to the point where everything's gonna be open source. Everybody's gonna have like a 3D printer and they can just start making their own hardware.
That'd be kind
It's
of
gonna be
wild.
wild.
Just
It's
buying
gonna be
parts
super
cheap.
wild.
That'd be kind of
Oh, yeah,
crazy.
dude.
It's like, here you go. Here's a guide on how to make your controller.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% Lego style.
DIY. It'd be kind of sick.
Yeah.
You know what else is kind of sick? And what we're ending today on? Crazy.
We're ending on probably the biggest story of the year so far. What'd you say?
It's pretty up there, not gonna lie. I think it's Xbox. This isn't an acquisition, but I was just thinking in terms of money, like Xbox acquiring Activision Blizzard. This is like 1/69th of that, so it's kind of what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mathematically, look at you. 169.
Crazy, I'm
This
crazy.
guy's a
Man.
genius.
Listen, everyone, listen. Destiny. What am I saying? Disney.
Destiny,
Mickey Mouse.
Destiny, the political commentator.
Disney. Mickey Mouse. Oh, Disney invests $1.5 billion in Epic to create persistent universe tied to Fortnite.
Oh boy!
Dude. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Listen. Disney invests this much money. This is crazy. It's a multi-year collaboration. Follows a similar deal with Lego. Yeah, similar deal. Disney and Fortnite maker Epic Games are teaming up to build what's being described as an expansive and open games and entertainment universe. As part of an announcement, Disney revealed that it is investing $1.5 billion in an equity stake in Epic. It's coming from Andrew Webster at The Verge. Details on what this metaverse-like project will look like are sparse, but here's how Disney explains it. They said, quote, in addition to being a world-class games experience and interpret. Oh my gosh, I can't read. Interoperating.
There you go.
Gosh,
I got you, bro.
thanks,
got you.
man. We get each other. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I struggle too.
Interoperating with the Fortnite, the new persistent universe will offer a multitude of opportunities for consumers to play, watch, shop, and engage with content, characters, and stories from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Avatar, and more. Players, gamers, and fans will be able to create their own stories and experiences, express their fandom in a distinctly Disney way, and share content with each other in ways that they love. They will all be powered by Unreal Engine. Well, I would hope it's Unreal Engine. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. Here, before you continue on with this article, let's give a little bit more context. So, the recognizable brands and film franchises that Disney owns, okay? Star Wars obviously is on this list. You have the Muppets.
Do I bring it up?
You have the giant Mickey Mouse ears. No, I think I'll hit it real quick. So we got the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everybody knows that. X-Men is going to probably be next. Then you got Disney Princess and Princesses. So you literally have like Cinderella, Mulan, Frozen, Aladdin, and The Lion King. These are some of the most well-known characters in all of cinema. The Chronicles of Narnia franchise, which is I didn't know they bought the whole franchise. That's wild. Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, pretty wild. That actually just started from a ride they had on Disney World. Pixar films, like you mentioned. So yeah, Toy Story, Incredibles, Cars, Winnie the Pooh franchise. That's interesting. I actually forgot about that one. Indiana Jones and Grey's Anatomy is on this list.
Yeah, it's wild.
That is, yeah, wild. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, really. $1.5 billion. Dude, I'm about to play as Winnie the Pooh in Fortnite. I'm so excited.
That's what I'm saying. Do you know Disney owns GoPro? What if you can use a GoPro in Fortnite?
There's a GoPro? They own GoPro?
According to this, if you scroll to the very bottom of this large chart, they own Steamboat Ventures, which owns Photobucket, GoPro, a couple others. I don't know. I've never heard of Game Salad, but I own that. UTV. What was crazy to me, and I didn't realize this until like recently, obviously they own ESPN, but they also own Fox, like 20th Century Fox, and then all the Fox networks. It's like,
yeah,
that's all under Disney 20th Century Fox.
I'm pretty sure that's kind of recent, I think.
Yeah. History Channel. You know, Disney owns the parent companies to Vice, which I feel like Vice is so like the opposite of what you would think of Disney, like with like Vice documentaries and stuff like that. It's wild.
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't know how I feel about that. It makes me kind of uncomfortable that all media outlets are controlled by one single owner.
Yeah. ABC
or conglomerate.
History Channel, Lifetime movies. Saying.
It's not a monopoly.
ABC, that's kind of under the ABC, because Disney owns ABC and ABC owns so much stuff, so it's like it's kind of wild. It all falls under one thing, really. A&E, another network. FYI, it's like Disneyland, obviously. And it goes on. I see. There's also Sky UK. You're telling me Sky News is under? Huh? Like that.
I did not know that. Holy crap! Yes. So they probably own Sky Sports too.
Sky Ireland, Sky Deutschland, Sky Italia. Yeah, Hulu. Obviously, we all know the Hulu Disney Plus ESPN bundle that goes around. That's all under Disney. Yeah, National Geographic. I don't know. Discovery Plus could be in there for all I know. On out here. So it's
jeez, man.
ESPN. You know, they own the Longhorn Network. Go Longhorns, I guess. Wow, man. There's a lot, dude. Yeah. You could spend hours just reading all this because it's so much.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that because it's like, yeah, that's a company that's too big to fail, which is
at this
crazy.
Point, yeah,
just way too big to fail.
You can never fail under Disney, baby.
This actually reminds me of the like high school or middle school kid that did research on every single lineage of founding fathers and presidents and traced it back to one single king in England.
That's funny.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's so crazy. Except for like one. I don't remember who the one was.
Oh man. Don't forget about Disney Cruise Lines, baby. You already know that's
that's a given. That's a name.
Too easy to name. Too easy. Yeah, dude, it's wild.
So hit us with the remainder of this article. What's going on with it?
Let's see. It sounds like Epic's recent collaboration with Lego in 2022. Epic received a $2 billion investment. I didn't even know it was that big. Which was split between Sony and Kirkby. I'll say that. An investment company helmed by the family behind Lego. Which resulted in the launch of the survival game Lego Fortnite earlier this year. The launch was part of a new era of Fortnite, as Epic made a major push to expand beyond the game's battle royale roots, turning into a platform for other kinds of games and experiences. The release of Lego Fortnite coupled with Fortnite Festival and Rocket Racing. I want to play Rocket League and Fortnite. Rocket Racing, baby. Do you have like the grass like motor? Is that an option? Can I just put my car with a grass motor, like the lawnmower motor? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't think so. The grass mower?
There's a motor sound in Rocket League where it sounds like you're like riding a lawnmower. It's pretty funny.
Oh yeah. I've seen that before. I don't think I actually have it. I was kind of disappointed when Epic Games bought Rocket League from Psyonix or Psyenix or what? Psyonix? Yeah. Lost a lot of my like skins that I was saving up blueprints for, and now I can't. Now I have to go buy a whole bunch of keys to unlock it. It's really annoying.
Jeez.
Yeah.
This is also far from the first collaboration between Disney and Fortnite, as a huge number of Star Wars, Marvel, and other Disney characters have been featured in the game. Back in 2020, there was an entire Marvel-themed season in the Battle Royale game. Epic has been very vocal force when it comes to the concept of building a metaverse. Through Disney recently, though Disney recently appeared to scale back its effort in the space, laying off its dedicated metaverse division late last year. Epic also recently laid off a large number of employees, cutting 16% of its workforce in September. This marks Disney's biggest entry ever into the world of games and offers significant opportunities for growth and expansion. Disney CEO Bob Iger said in a statement, "We can't wait for fans to experience the Disney stories and worlds they love in groundbreaking new ways." Epic boss Tim Sweeney added, "We're collaborating on something entirely new to build a persistent, open, and interoperable," I think I said that right.
Yep. Interoperable. Yep.
Interoperable ecosystem that will bring together Disney and Fortnite communities. It's unclear when the metaverse will debut, but the collaboration has already yielded a curious announcement. Rocket League, which is under the Epic umbrella, is getting a Mandalorian-themed update, complete with the Grogu car topper. You tell I put Baby Yoda on my car, dude? Like, what? Kind of nuts.
I'm interested. Yeah, you can.
Update, baby.
Yeah, I just clicked on it. It looks like the paint for Mandalorian steel, or wherever they had. I forgot what the name of the steel is. But, excuse me. But also, I hit the play button. It's very loud. It's Grogu in his like little floating like cup. Yeah, on top of the car. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool looking. Interesting.
What do you think, Mike? Dude, Disney, Fortnite? Are we talking success here? Do you want Disneyland in the game? Because I do. I want Disney World in the game. What if I could like Animal Kingdom in the game? That'd be kind of sick.
I don't know, man. Like after finding out how big, like actually seeing the gravity of how much Disney owns, it's just like, dude, are they doing all this because they like took over an entire childhood from 2 generations, maybe 3 generations of people? You know, like everybody watched The Lion King growing up, Aladdin, now Frozen is the new one that all the kids have watched, Moana, and I don't even know.
It's kind of nuts, you know. I mean,
it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a lot.
Would you have your hands as many things as Disney does? It's amazing. It's not a monopoly. I'll be honest. It's crazy.
I mean, consumer protection laws out here, I guess. But on the bright side, if I'm just taking at face value, it'd be pretty sick to be any Star Wars character in Fortnite right now and have a lightsaber that I can run around and just chop people apart. It'd be pretty sick.
They've done it before. Do it again. I'm saying.
Yeah. I just want a dark, really gritty Star Wars game. Like almost rated R. Super gritty.
Man, I'd be down for that too, not gonna lie, you know? Just have something just crazy. Adult themes, you know? But not like too, you know, like I don't know. Be kind of nuts, Mike. Be kind of nuts. I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, and it'll also be really interesting to see how the metaverse comes into play here. Like with the release of Apple VR headset, that's insane. Some of the footage I've seen from that is wild. I'm sure Facebook's going to have something similar with their Meta Quest Pro or whatever that they have. I mean, it's only a matter of time until Disney comes out with that because they're breaking into the video game market. Natural addition would be like all Disney products in VR next.
Yeah. Likely evolution. Likely iteration. I don't know. Yeah, it's I'll be curious to see kind of like, you know, what they're talking about, like a metaverse type thing. That would kind of be like, but I don't know. At the same time, dude, the virtual reality stuff kind of scares me a little bit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of cool, but like, kind of scares me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's we're so early in the game, you can't really have too strong of an opinion on it. I think
Yeah.
we just need to see what happens. Unfortunately, I think we're getting into the stage where it's inevitable unless people don't buy into it. If people just because you need the broader audience, the broader community, to just be like, yeah, we're not really about this anymore because it's like the money decides, like follow the money.
Yeah.
And yeah, if people aren't interested in VRs, like somehow people aren't really all that interested in electric vehicles, and that's kinda like a lot of dealers and manufacturers are having to pivot away back to more traditional means.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. And so
Yeah.
you get that tax credit on EVs too, dude. What's good? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the problem is vehicles in general are just overpriced, and that's
Yeah.
where the VR headsets are. They're very like well, they're not overpriced. Maybe that's the true price of how much new technology costs, but the problem is because it's new, it's gonna cost more. Not everybody can afford it.
Yeah,
And
it's true. It's true.
you can't afford it, maybe it came out too early. Like, there's plenty of technologies that came out like, electric cars aren't a new concept at all. It failed in the past because it was very expensive and it was inefficient. So, I mean, remember Google was supposed to have, some VR stuff very similar, like the Google glasses.
Oh
Remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah, it was kind of a bust,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
a
a
cool
total
concept
bust.
though.
Exactly. I mean, there's been plenty of things that have just completely bust,
Yeah.
and, we're so new to it that we gotta see how this plays out. It is the future, though. VR is definitely gonna be the future.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know why I just got hit with memories of Google Stadia after we talked about Google failing projects. Oh man.
Google has tons of failing projects. They have like Google Watches, I think, that kind of failed. People were really all into that. Fitbit was another one that was like super popular, but now I don't see as many people wearing Fitbits anymore.
So, yeah.
Your
Google
phones can
Google
kind of keep
Plus
track of everything.
or Google
Google
Plus.
Plus, yeah, yeah, man. It's a
Man.
lot of things that are like just trial runs.
Yeah,
It
it's
really
something to come down
depends.
to. I don't know.
Hmm.
All right, listen, Mike, I'm done. I ain't got any more articles, dude. We're
Yeah.
we're you know we're cooking over here on time too. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm such a memester. I said, let's try to get it done before an hour. We got only 5 articles. It's looking good, and you go, okay. Start making
I'm just
fun of me.
like reality.
Yeah, it is reality. But let's get out of here before an hour and a half, I guess. Well, we did have a short intro, but basically the show, if you haven't caught on, this is the week in review of gaming industry related news out of the M2 podcast. And if you want to see timestamps, we got them in the description below. We also have all the links in the description of the articles that we've covered. Check those out. And remember to subscribe, like on YouTube so you can see easier digestible content where we take segments of each article and then turn them into a quick little video for you. But yeah, that's all I
Sure,
got.
maybe.
Social media's down there, Discord's down there. And yeah, that's basically it. You got anything, Kyle?
No, I want to talk to you about guests though, but later.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. Well, without further ado, we'll let you go and we'll see you in next week's episode. I hope you have a wonderful start to February and check you later, guys. See you. Peace out. Have a good one.